Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, namaste. People from all around the world, I, Ankur Singh, from FinTech Department, Reserve Bank of India, will be the host for today's launch event. We hope that all of you are in good health and acknowledge the marvel of technology which has facilitated people from all around the world to connect seamlessly with each other with just a click. Before we begin with the launch of today's event, I would like to express my greetings to the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Mr. T. Ravi Shankar, the Executive Director of Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Ajay Kumar Chaudhary, the Head of BIS Innovation Hub, Ms. Cecilia Kingsley, the Chief General Manager of FinTech Department, Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Suvendu Pati, the Head of BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong Center, Ms. Benedict Nolans, the CEO of Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, Mr. Rajesh Bansal, and Advisor in Charge, International Department, Mrs. Mahua Roy. Along with that, I would like to extend my greetings to the delegates of the Indian government, delegates of the G20 ministries, the central banks, and international organizations, along with the global audience who have joined us today for the launch of G20 TechSprint 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, cross-border payments are crucial for international trade and commerce. They allow businesses to expand and connect to customers and partners around the world. In addition, for many developing nations, cross-border remittances are a critical source of income for the families as well as for the economic growth. Under India's G20 presidency, the Reserve Bank of India and BIS Innovation Hub have come together to seek the best-in-class, the global technological solutions to enable cross-border payments become more seamless, more efficient. Through this fourth edition of the G20 TechSprint, we try to catalyze developments in cross-border payments and making them seamless, transparent, economic, and efficient. On that note, I now request Mr. Ajay Kumar Chaudhary, the Executive Director of Reserve Bank of India, to welcome all the participants from around the world. Mr. Ajay Kumar Chaudhary.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Deputy Governor Sri T. Ravi Shankar, Head of BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong, Ms. Benedict Nolans, representatives from BIS Innovation Hub present through web, G20 members, senior officers from Government of India, CEO Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, Mr. Rajesh Bansal, my colleagues from Reserve Bank of India, media present here, and everyone who has joined the event live via YouTube. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to today's launch event of the G20 TechSprint 2023 under India's presidency. The TechSprint is an annual event of the G20 Finance Track. It is a global long-form hackathon series co-hosted by the concerned G20 presidency along with the BIS Innovation Hub. This event brings together brightest minds in the tech space to solve real-world problems by creating innovative solutions to challenges faced by the global regulators and central banking community. The common challenges are enumerated in the form of problem statements, selected carefully based on the priorities set by the G20 leadership. The underlying theme of this year's TechSprint is cross-border payments. As you are aware, the Reserve Bank encourages innovation in financial sector under various formats such as regulatory sandbox, global hackathons, etc. The framework of a regulatory sandbox by RBI has been put in place since August 2019 for collaboration between the regulator, innovators, financial sector providers, and the end users. So far, the RBI has enabled 5 cohorts under the regulatory sandbox, including the themes on retail payments, cross-border payments, MSME lending, mitigation of financial fraud, and the 5th cohort is the theme neutral. The RBI has also conducted global hackathons. The first hackathon, Harbinger 2021, had the theme Smarter Digital Payments. The second global hackathon, Harbinger 2023, has the theme Inclusive Digital Services, wherein Reserve Bank invited participants to develop solutions that have the potential to make digital financial services accessible to the differently abled people, facilitate efficient compliance through RegTech solutions, offline functionality in CBDC, central bank digital currency, and enhance the scalability of blockchains. Besides, Reserve Bank has also set up Reserve Bank Innovation Hub to promote innovation across the financial sector by leveraging on tech and creating an environment which would facilitate and foster innovation. Today we are here to witness the launch of G20 TechSprint 2023 with the collaborative effort of India's G20 Presidency and the BIS Innovation Hub. I believe that it is another start of an exciting journey, a journey of innovation, journey of creativity, a journey of collaboration in the tech world. We are excited to see the innovative ideas that would spring from the TechSprint. I wish all the best to all the prospective participants. I'd like to thank BIS and all the G20 members for the support extended in the selection of the theme, giving suggestions to fine-tune the problem statements, as also providing other supports. I like to end by quoting Matt Mullenberg, an American entrepreneur and web developer, quote, "Technology is the best when it brings people together," unquote. I once again welcome all of you and hope we all will enjoy the exciting journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Director, for that warm and contextual welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the G20 TechSprint is a joint effort of Reserve Bank of India and the BIS Innovation Hub. So we have an address from the head of BIS Innovation Hub, Cecilia Kingsley.
Deputy Governor T. Rabi Sankar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to join you today for the launch of the 4th edition of the G20 TechSprint. Let me start by thanking Deputy Governor T. Rabi Sankar and colleagues at the Reserve Bank of India for their strong leadership for this year's G20 meetings, including the G20 TechSprint, and their efforts to promote international cooperation in the area of monetary and financial stability. Supporting central banks' pursuit of monetary and financial stability through international cooperation is at the core of the Bank for International Settlements, BIS's mission. To this end, the BIS, through its Innovation Hub and the TechSprint initiative, has been a proud and committed partner with successive G20 presidencies over the past 3 years. The G20 TechSprint has become a well-established brand in the tech and financial communities. As an annual initiative, it invites a wide range of stakeholders, including the private sector, to develop innovative solutions to important problems and the challenges confronting the global central banking and regulatory communities. Over the past 3 years, the TechSprint initiative has addressed problems in the fields of RegTech and SubTech, green and sustainable finance, and wholesale and retail central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs for short. Many of these technological solutions that have been developed through TechSprint hold great potential to improve the functioning of the financial system. This year's TechSprint revolves around another G20 priority, namely cross-border payments. Cross-border payments sit at the heart of the global economy, but continue to suffer from high costs, low speed, operational complexities, and limited access for people. Making cross-border payments faster, cheaper, more transparent, and inclusive would offer significant benefits to citizens, businesses, and economies worldwide. The BIS Innovation Hub has a mandate to develop public goods in the technology space to support and improve the financial system. And we have been experimenting with many different projects to develop innovative solutions to the many problems that arise in the cross-border payment space. We strive to meet the G20's call for action using our network of central bank collaborators across the globe. Our experiments in multi-CBDC platforms and the interlinking of domestic payment systems in collaboration with several central banks have achieved a great deal. For example, the prototype we have developed in the BIS Innovation Hub Singapore Center, Project Nexus, has successfully linked the Eurosystem, Malaysian and Singapore payment systems. So we are now partnering with Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore and Thailand to work together for wider payments connectivity. And a few months ago, our Hong Kong Centre's project mBridge completed a successful pilot of real value transactions on a cross-border wholesale multi-CBDC platform. The progress we have made in this project has also identified a number of priority areas for further work on the design and operation of such cross-border wholesale CBDC platforms. For example, a crucial determinant for success of multilateral cross-border payment platforms, whether based on CBDC or otherwise, is ensuring compliance with regulations against illicit finance, while also reducing the regulatory burden for participants. Payment platforms may face legal or reputational risk if they are used for money laundering, terrorist financing, or sanctions evasion. And at the same time, the fact that these controls are often repeated several times for one single operation helps to explain the high cost and slowness of cross-border payments and the difficulties that new entrants experience in competing with established payments frameworks. In addition, multilateral cross-border payment platforms should be able to facilitate settlements in a wide range of currencies, including those of emerging market and developing economies. FX and liquidity risks can make it more challenging to operate multilateral platforms relative to domestic systems. So, FX and cross-currency liquidity technology solutions can help serve to broaden the payments ecosystem beyond the most liquid and actively traded currencies. Also, technology solutions surrounding interoperability across platforms and types of blockchain, APIs, digitized governance and voting and embedded supervision, privacy, and cybersecurity, they are all promising additions to multilateral cross-border payments platforms that demand further exploration. As I noted earlier, cross-border payments sit at the heart of the global economy. Therefore, collaboration between the public and private sectors, as well as between national and international stakeholders, will be needed to improve the current system. We welcome and encourage active participation from experts around the world in this year's G20 TechSprint, as your work and innovative solutions can bring about meaningful improvements in people's lives. So let me conclude by thanking again Deputy Governor T. Ravi Shankar and the Reserve Bank of India for their leadership in hosting this year's G20 TechSprint. And let me also remind you of the BIS Innovation Hub's strong commitment to work with you on this important topic of cross-border payments. And I look forward to seeing this year's innovative solutions.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia Kingsley, the head of BIS Innovation Hub, for that inspiring and encouraging message, highlighting some of the important initiatives taken by the Hub to solve some key challenges in cross-border payments. Moving on, I now request Mr. T. Ravi Shankar, the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, to deliver his keynote address.
Thank you, Ms. Kingsley, Ms. Nolens. Good that you could make it here. Representatives of G20 member countries, officials from the Government of India, other officials from BIS and other international organizations who are attending, members of the media, and my colleagues from the Reserve Bank of India. It is a privilege for me to participate in the launch of the TechSprint 2023, the hackathon series under the aegis of the G20, conducted by BIS along with the presidency country for the particular year. This, as you have heard, is the 4th edition, and it has been continuing from 2020. Now, it is perhaps in the fitness of things, perhaps that the theme for the hackathon under the umbrella of the G20, which is the apex global forum for coordinating financial stability initiatives across the globe, is cross-border payments. We all know that cross-border payments has been at the forefront of initiatives of G20, FSB, and other organizations for the last few years. A lot of work has gone into it. And this hackathon, this TechSprint, will probably give it a fillip, give it a boost in taking that initiative forward. As is well understood, the substantive change that CBDCs can bring about is in the sphere of cross-border payments. Now, but for that eventuality to take shape, what is needed more than technology, more than product design, is coordination across countries, and as Cecilia said, between the public and private sectors. So what is required? What is required is, first of all, that there has to be an increased adoption of CBDCs across countries. So countries need to first decide to create CBDCs, which basically means that the debate has to proceed in a manner that a case is made for its existence. Then there should be the next step is to create the infrastructure for various CBDCs to interface. These two things need to happen for CBDCs to play the role that one expects them to play in the cross-border payments arena. And we hope that someday that degree of coordination can give rise to the desired results. As many of you would know, the initiatives, the India model of digitization has largely been one where the basic infrastructure is led by the public sector, is created by the public sector, on which the creativity of the fintech ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, the startup ecosystem has been allowed to play and create its innovations. That has stood us in very good stead. We have managed to not only create solutions that would have been unimaginable 5 years back, but we have also been able to manage those, manage the scaling up of those digital innovations to a population scale. We understand that this model, where the basic drive for infrastructure comes from the public sector, from countries, from national governments, but private sector innovation is actually allowed to play with this infrastructure, is what would also prove to be a successful model for CBDCs to be used globally. It is also opportune to explore solutions to illicit global finance, especially in the context of the use of private virtual currencies for money laundering. Recently, the number that came out last year was about 23.8 billion, and other illicit purposes roughly about 20 billion in 2022. And I understand that these are at the lower end of the range of estimates. Now, here again, CBDC stands out as a superior fiat alternative for maintenance of global financial integrity. It would be nobody's case that the financial integrity in terms of ALM, CFT, and various other initiatives that have been taken over the last 2 decades should not be lost simply because payments shift towards digital currencies. It would therefore be in the interest of the global financial system to maintain the achievements that it has got over the last couple of decades by putting as much effort as possible into ensuring that any digital currency usage or most digital currency usage certainly should be should be restricted to fiat currencies. This is I understand this is also one of the problem statements on which solutions will be worked on. The third problem statement was essentially about liquidity and pricing of forex. That challenge, even when in the future when CBDC can play its desired role in cross-border payments, remains the foremost challenge. forex pricing and liquidity, especially for non-reserve currencies. We have a global financial system that is dominated in terms of transactions, in terms of invoicing, in terms of their usage for hedging and other purposes on a handful of reserve currencies. It would probably therefore be in the interest of the international currency system to have a little more diversified liquid currencies, which could actually have the benefit, which could actually have the additional benefit of de-risking the global financial systems. Instead of depending on only a few, depend on more. That will also help in getting the pricing that that has already been highlighted here for forex that we see. And I believe that with the right infrastructure, liquidity is eminently feasible irrespective of the currency involved, and forex pricing can actually be far more efficient than what exists today. I'm referring to the forex bid-ask spreads, particularly as it as it affects retail transaction sizes. I'm looking forward to exciting solutions coming to the fore through the TechSprint process, which should lead to better convergence of views on the use of CBDCs to initiate more efficient global payment systems. For a country like India with huge inward remittance, this is of particular significance. But but I understand going forward the case is not just for remittances; it is for global transactions in general, including interbank wholesale transactions. Our appreciation to BIS for channelizing the creative spark of fintech through your innovation hubs and specifically through the TechSprint initiative. I wish the organizers all the very best and look forward to seeing some exciting solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Governor, for your address. Indeed, the world is looking forward to some of the solutions in cross-border area along with CBDCs, and taking one more step in that direction. I request you now to pick up the joystick in front of you, press the button to mark the launch of the G20 TechSprint 2023.
Cross-border payments have been a key driver for facilitating international trade, investment and economic activities for centuries and has been instrumental in the creation of today's global economy. Over the past few decades, the increased global mobility of goods and services, capital and people have further contributed to the growing economic importance of cross-border payments. However, cross-border payments have faced prolonged challenges of relatively high costs, slow speed, low access, limited liquidity, and insufficient transparency. As the world becomes more connected and interdependent, the need for seamless and efficient payment across border, which are faster, cheaper, inclusive, and transparent, is becoming increasingly essential. Under India's G20 Presidency, Reserve Bank of India and BIS Innovation Hub are launching the 4th edition of the annual hackathon, G20 TechSprint 2023, to promote innovative technologies and solutions aimed at improving cross-border payments. Enhancing cross-border payments, speed and transparency, while increasing access to cross-border payments services and reducing the associated costs are one of the key priorities of the G20. As a part of the annual integral event of the G20, the long-form hackathon G20 TechSprint 2023 aims to promote the development of innovative technological solutions to address the challenges associated with high-priority areas identified by G20. TechSprint 2023 invites proposals from across the world to develop and showcase innovative technology solutions that can address the challenges relating to AML, CFT, illiquidity, identified in the problem statements to make cross-border payments economical, secure, efficient, and accessible. We also invite technology solutions for multilateral CBDC platforms that can overhaul the cross-border payments ecosystem. Teams from all over the world interested in providing solutions to the cross-border payments are welcome to be a part of this prestigious global event. Each team must register and submit their complete proposal before the deadline. Thereafter, shortlisted teams will be invited to develop prototypes of solutions, which would be judged by an eminent jury. The winner in each individual category stands to win an attractive reward offered by Reserve Bank of India. In addition, the shortlisted teams would receive a stipend to take care of the development and participation expenses. They will also get an opportunity to engage with eminent experts from the global financial community. G20 TechSprint 2023 proposal submission opens from 4th May 2023 onwards. For more information, visit www.techsprint.rbi.org.in. Come, be a part of this one-of-a-kind global competition and contribute to revolutionize payments across borders. Truly befitting the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One Earth, one family, one future. G20 TechSprint 2023. Innovate, build, transform.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the G20 TechSprint 2023 is now officially open for submission of proposals. With increased globalization of financial markets, cross-border payments are vital for many of the business operations. Efficient and reliable cross-border payments and remittances are critical for the economic development, reducing poverty, and improving the livelihoods of people around the world. Through the G20 TechSprint 2023, RBI and BIS-IH are seeking the best-in-class technological innovative solutions to improve the efficiency of cross-border payments. Moving on with our agenda, we now have a panel discussion to deliver more insight into how and where and in which manner you can participate in this global event. The panel discussion will focus and try to address all the questions that the participants can have. The panel discussion will address the questions related to what is in store for the participants. I'm sure many of the participants are eager to know how they can be part of this prestigious global event. The discussion will be moderated by Mr. Rajesh Bansal, CEO of Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. The Reserve Bank Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI and was launched with an idea to have collaboration of the regulator with the markets, and innovative solutions can be found through collaboration with public and private entities. The panelists would be the Chief General Manager, FinTech Department, Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Suvendupati. FinTech Department is one of the newly formed department in RBI, formed with the focus to have developments in FinTech area. One of the agendas of FinTech Department is to have collaboration with the entities and foster innovation through regulatory sandbox, hackathons, introducing innovative solutions in the market. Another panelist joining us is Ms. Benedict Nolens, the head of BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong Center. The Hong Kong Center of Innovation Hub has been playing a very critical role when it comes to development and innovation. They have some of the major initiatives which have been critical in terms of cross-border payments as well as general innovations. I now hand it over to the moderator, Mr. Rajesh Vansal, CEO, Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, to move ahead with the panel discussion.
Very good evening, everyone, and good morning to our friends from the Western Hemisphere, and welcome to the panel discussion on G20 TechSprint 2023. Already the broader context has been set out in the keynote address by Shri Ravi Shankar, Deputy Governor, RBI, and the address of Cecilia Kingsley, head of the BIS Innovation Hub. In this short panel discussion, we intend to provide background and further details and expectations from this year's TechSprint. Let me start with Benedict, who heads the BIS Innovation Hub Hong Kong Center and has been deeply associated with this year's TechSprint. Could you tell us, Benedict, about something about the TechSprint and what are the aims and objectives of this framework?
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me here. So the G20 TechSprint is an annual initiative. As mentioned, it is a hackathon that we jointly organize across the BIS Innovation Hub and the G20 Presidency. The intention of the TechSprint is really to seek to have public and private collaboration and to bring forward technology solutions to common challenges that have been identified by the central banking community. The first G20 TechSprint was launched in 2020, and this now is thereby the fourth of such TechSprints. And in the prior years, we focused on a couple of issues that we viewed as important to the central banking community, including SupTech and RegTech, green and sustainable finance, and also retail and wholesale CBDC. This year, as mentioned, we are focusing on multilateral payment platforms and solutions to make these platforms more efficient.
Thanks for the introduction. Now let me turn to Shubhendu, who is spearheading this initiative and this TechSprint from the RBI side. Shubhendu, can you throw some light on the TechSprint 2023 under India's G20 presidency? What is the underlying theme and the problem statement that we plan to address?
Right. So for India and Reserve Bank, we both consider it as a matter of privilege to host this year's G20 TechSprint in association with the BIS Innovation Hub. We consider TechSprint to be a very important competition at a global level in which innovative solutions to the practical problems being faced by the central banks worldwide are sought to be found. This year's theme is on cross-border payments. The subject of making cross-border payments more efficient has also been highlighted as a G20 by the G20 as a priority area. Despite technological advancements, several pain points such as the high costs, long time taken, long chain of transactions, time zone restrictions, inadequate transparency still remain in the cross-border payments area. Further, of late, several jurisdictions have also started to explore CBDC, introduction of central bank digital currencies, and are taking steps in this regard. One of the key motivations for introduction of CBDC is to bring efficiency to the cross-border payment space, which will benefit the citizens so that the funds can be transferred from one country to the other in a cost-effective manner with minimum settlement risk and in the shortest possible time. Considering all this, this year we are looking at technological and innovative solutions focused on these themes. More specifically, the themes have been divided into 3 subcomponents, which are articulated through the 3 problem statements, and these are AML and CFT related technology solutions to reduce the illicit finance risk, Second problem statement relates to the FX and liquidity related technology solutions to enable settlement in emerging market and developing economies currencies. And the third one is to find technology solutions for multilateral cross-border CBDC platforms. We have kept the problem statements, especially the last one relating to the multilateral CBDC platforms, a little broad, so that solutions to the various facets of this problem statement could be included and could be explored. Thank you.
Benedict, the audience would be keen to know what is the background on how the problem statements have been identified. Could you throw some light on that?
Yeah, thank you. There's quite a few years of history and research on that by now. So, in fact, it dates back to 2020. In a stage 1 assessment report, the FSB had identified challenges with cross-border payments as a key focus area where we need to put more emphasis to try and resolve the pain points and the issues. It provided an update at the time to the G20 finance ministers and the central bank governors. That was followed by a stage 2 report by the CPMI, which is the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures. And this second report incorporated 19 building blocks. These building blocks are areas where, in fact, further public and private collaboration could enhance cross-border payments. They're organized in 5 focus areas. The focus areas A to D actually concern improving current infrastructures and systems, whereas the focus area E is more exploratory, using new and emerging technologies. The G20 members, as mentioned, this being the focus, have each explored using some of these building blocks and experimenting with them, including through the construction of prototypes. And as was mentioned in Cecilia's opening speech, within the BIS Innovation Hub, we have, for example, 2 such projects that are focused on cross-border payment. One is the Nexus project, which we put under building block 13, and is looking to connect faster payment systems for speeding up cross-border payments and making them lower cost. And the other project we have ongoing out of my center is the Enbridge project, which we place under building block 19 as emerging technology because we're using DLT, distributed ledger technology, across central banks in order to speed up cross-border payments. If you take a look at the problem statements as we have formulated them and just announced them a few minutes ago, there are 3 problem statements. Problem statement 1 can be connected to building blocks 5 and 8 of the CPMI report. Problem statement 2 to building block 11 of the CPMI report, and problem statement number 3 to 4, 15, and 16, and certain other building blocks of that CPMI report. Again, the CPMI report can easily be Googled by just entering CPMI and 19 building blocks.
Thanks, Benedict. So thanks for giving us the background and the VIS principles which will help our ecosystem partners. Shwendu, let's go into each of the statements so that the potential participants and everyone has better clarity. Can you give us more broader context to the first problem statement on AML, CFT, sanctions technology solutions to reduce illicit finance risk?
Sure. AML professionals globally have tried extremely hard over the years to achieve compliance to AML, CFT, and sanctions requirements. However, we need to recognize that the efforts has not been met always with the success. Criminals are very creative and they are finding new ways around. On the other hand, the enforcement is difficult, slow, and many times are only partial. While estimates are very sparse, one of the studies from the UN Office on Drugs and Crime places global money laundering at 2 to 5% of the GDP, amounting to somewhere close to 800 billion to 2 trillion US dollars. Other estimates place this amount closer to 3 trillion, and of which an estimated amount of only 3 billion per annum is successfully intercepted. I'm sure, I mean, we understand it's a very small percent, roughly about 0.1%. Against this backdrop, there is much room for innovation and technology solutions to make money laundering compliance more effective. And this year's G20 TechSprint is set in this global context with a specific focus on multilateral cross-border payment solutions. As indicated earlier, problem statement 1 links to the key building block 5, which specifies that to apply the AML and CFT consistently and comprehensively, and to the building block 8, which specifies to foster KYC and identity information sharing. So as part of this D20 TechSprint this year, we call for AML, CFT and the sanctions technology solutions that can be integrated into such multilateral platforms to reduce the illicit finance risk while increasing the efficiency in AML and CFT screening process. Also, we are looking at the ideas which can help in increasing the level of screening or compliance at a given level of confidentiality between the participants and the platform operators.
Thanks, Shubhendu, for giving these insights into problem statement 1. Coming to you now, Benedict, for the problem statement 2, can you share some insights with our audience on the effects and liquidity technology solutions to enable settlement in more emerging market and developing economies, currencies? What technology solution do you see available in this space to serve this purpose?
Yes, so let's start with the background, and I think that the Deputy Governor has also already introduced the background. But in sum, most cross-border payments are actually settled in a handful of leading currencies, as opposed to in a large group of currencies. And as mentioned, settlement in emerging market and developing economy, which we call EMDE currencies, is actually quite low. This in turn is linked to lower liquidity of these currency pairs, which indeed is likely also linked to the lack of linkage, direct linkage between these currency pairs. The reliance on a few foreign currencies has some implications for the users. First of all, it creates currency risk. Of course, exchange rates, as you know, can be volatile. Secondly, it increases the number of intermediary participation, thereby increasing cost and also creating delays in the system. Furthermore, from a country's perspective, it can create monetary policy spillovers of foreign currencies. And it can also lead to lack of access to liquidity in times of shock and turbulence. So inversely, if we would imagine this in another way, with more use of local currencies in cross-border payments, then we would have reduced currency risk, we would have reduced monetary spillover effects, we could have reduced impact of shocks, and we could see an increase of development of FX markets in these local currencies. So as I mentioned in the first address, multilateral payment platforms are a solution whereby different countries are connected on a platform, are parties of different countries are connected on a platform in order to facilitate cross-border payments. And as said, certain of these efforts are considering the use of more local currencies. However, to achieve this, we do need to have FX and liquidity solutions. And that is at the crux of this specific TechSprint and specifically problem statement number 2. And as you said, what could be solutions? We know obviously there are liquidity solutions in the standing system, including order book methodologies. But for example, one could look at some of the technologies being piloted in the DeFi space, such as automated market makers. And we could imagine that conceptually participants could be on these platforms that hold these currencies, could be on a platform, form a pool, And through algorithmic methodologies and the use of smart contracts, the transactions could be instantly done on a PVP basis. It is expected that the operational costs hopefully would get decreased through the automation, and as well as that the same automation would increase the transparency in the FX rates. So this is the backdrop to the problem statement number 2.
Thanks, Benedict. I would again come back to you for problem statement 3. Technology solutions for multilateral cross-border CBDC platforms has led to a global push for implementing harmonized global ISO requirements for cross-border payments. Can we leverage new multilateral payment platforms to progress this universal messaging standard? What are some challenges in doing so, and how can we address them?
So I think we all know that standards are crucial, and that consistency across borders is highly reliant on using consistent standards. And a key standard, obviously, is ISO 20022, in that it sets standards for specifically relating to payments, or payments amongst others. By standardizing, one could see that there is obviously a decreased need for processing interfaces and for data enhancement, which again should lead to a decrease in cost and hopefully to an increase in straight-through processing. It is obvious that new platforms, if constructed, should be using new standards, and ISO 20022 is such a standard. At the same time, of course, this is still a relatively new standard, so certain countries might not have fully adjusted to this new standard, and there might need to be also interfacing technologies to help the translation from ISO 20022 to local standards. But for sure, new initiatives like multilateral payment platforms offer an opportunity for adoption of those standards and also other standards that are emerging across international payments.
Thanks. Shubhendu, now from the organizer's perspective, can you provide details on who can participate in the TechSprint and the format of the event? How can I participate? So people who want to know, the audience who want to know, how can they participate? What are the timelines? What are the rewards? Sorry for too many questions in one question.
Fine, I'll just start. We believe that true innovation knows no limits. It occurs where imagination meets determination and courage meets conviction. And in tune with this spirit, the TechSprint is open to all. Teams, entities, firms, enterprises from all over the world can take part. It is expected that the teams applying should ideally have the knowledge about the cross-border payments landscape and demonstrate technical capability for developing a solution within the given timeline. In order to participate, the teams need to register on the Apex platform, the platform that we have chosen for hosting this hackathon. The complete proposals need to be submitted in 1 month's time from today. The registration opens today, so on or before 4th of June 2023. The proposals will then be shortlisted for the next stage on the basis of several criteria such as innovation, the ease of implementation, the impact on one or more of the G20 cross-border payment roadmap parameters such as the cost, access, speed, transparency, technology used, so on and so forth. These parameters are just to name a few and may not be construed as the exhaustive, but they are only illustrative in nature. The shortlisted teams will then will have to develop the prototypes, the working models during a period of 6 weeks. Each team will be eligible for a stipend of INR 800,000, which is approximately 10,000 US dollars. Later on, an independent panel of experts will select the most promising solution to each of the problem statements from the shortlisted solutions. And the final announcement in this regard is likely to be made towards the end of August or early September this year. the shortlisted teams will not only have an opportunity to showcase their developed solutions, but also will receive feedback from national authorities and the invited experts. And the winners of each of the problem statement get an handsome award from the Reserve Bank of India of INR 4 million, which is approximately close to 50,000 US dollars.
Svendu, any final message you would like to give to the participants?
Sure. We want to convey to all that this is a huge opportunity present before all the teams, entrepreneurs, organizations who believe that cross-border payments should be improved and have the talent, technological capability and the will to do so. I call upon them to participate in this tech sprint enthusiastically and to showcase their solutions. I also take this opportunity to request our G20 member countries and central banks colleagues to give this tech sprint the wider publicity in their respective jurisdictions so that we elicit a very wide range of participation and to make this tech sprint a truly innovative journey that we intend to see going forward. Thank you.
So thank you panelists for providing these much needed details, and remember, for budding participants, June 4th is the last date. With this, we come to end of this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator and panelists, for that insightful discussion, which I'm sure provided a lot of clarity to the prospective participants in terms of problem statements, how they can apply, and what is in store for them. I now request Advisor in Charge, International Department, Reserve Bank of India, Mrs. Mahua Roy, to issue a word of thanks to everyone who has participated in this event.
Thank you. So now with this panel discussion, we have come to the end of the launch event of G20 TechSprint 2023. So on behalf of the G20 Presidency, we are exceedingly happy for the smooth launch of the 2023 TechSprint. And of course, all of us, we wish ourselves all success in this endeavor. It has been a very productive evening in which announcement and information sharing regarding TechSprint on the theme Technology Solutions for Cross-Border Payments was made. I'm sure that the participants got a good insight and clarity into the framework of the G20 TechSprint, including the scheme, rewards, problem statements, and the way forward. We expect that everyone would do their bit to further propagate this information, and that the scheme will reach the innovators and technology enthusiasts within the G20 family and maybe even outside. Now I would like to propose a vote of thanks for everyone involved in this important event. First and foremost, my sincere thanks to our Deputy Governor, Shri T. Ravi Shankar, for his guidance and support in organizing this event and in delivering the keynote address. I thank Shri Ajay Kumar Chaudhary, Executive Director, for his active involvement in finalizing the G20 TechSprint 2023 framework and delivering the welcome address today. On behalf of the Reserve Bank of India, I would like to thank BIS Innovation Hub Chief, Ms. Cecilia Kingsley, for the excellent address in which she set the tone of the launch event, and my sincere thanks to Ms. Benedict Nolens, Head of the BIS Innovation Hub Hong Kong Center, for traveling to India and attending this event, and for being a panelist along with Shri Subhendu Pati, Chief General Manager, FinTech Department, which was moderated by Shri Rajesh Bansal, CEO of our RBI Innovation Hub. They discussed in this panel the nitty-gritty of the TechSprint and provided insights into the framework, which, as I have said, should prove to be very helpful to all the the innovators who are intending to take part in this hackathon. I also thank India's G20 Presidency, representatives from the G20 member countries, the BIS team, officials from other international organizations, and each and everyone involved and present in this important event, which is the culmination of a number of discussions done very thoroughly over the last few months between the Reserve Bank of India and the G20 Innovation Hub from Hong Kong. I thank the officials of the Department of Communications, the Department of Information Technology, and the International Department for their support and coordination in organizing this event. I thank the media houses for their presence and coverage of this important event. The technical support provided by the vendors is acknowledged. And my earnest thanks to the dedicated team of FinTech Department and the BIS Innovation Hub team, without whose support this event wouldn't have been possible. Thank you all.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the launch of G20 TechSprint 2023. I wish you good health and good luck. Namaste.
Cross-border payments have been a key driver for facilitating international trade, investment, and economic activities for centuries, and has been instrumental in the creation of today's global economy. Over the past few decades, the increased global mobility of goods and services, capital and people have further contributed to the growing economic importance of cross-border payments. However, cross-border payments have faced prolonged challenges of relatively high costs, slow speed, low access, limited liquidity, and insufficient transparency. As the world becomes more connected and interdependent, the need for seamless and efficient payment across border, which are faster, cheaper, inclusive, and transparent, is becoming increasingly essential. Under India's G20 Presidency, Reserve Bank of India and BIS Innovation Hub are launching the 4th edition of the annual hackathon, G20 TechSprint 2023, to promote innovative technologies and solutions aimed at improving cross-border payments. Enhancing cross-border payments, speed and transparency, while increasing access to cross-border payments services and reducing the associated costs are one of the key priorities of the G20. As a part of the annual integral event of the G20, the long-form hackathon G20 TechSprint 2023 aims to promote the development of innovative technological solutions to address the challenges associated with high-priority areas identified by G20. TechSprint 2023 invites proposals from across the world to develop and showcase innovative technology solutions that can address the challenges relating to AML, CFT, illiquidity, identified in the problem statements to make cross-border payments economical, secure, efficient, and accessible. We also invite technology solutions for multilateral CBDC platforms that can overhaul the cross-border payments ecosystem. Teams from all over the world interested in providing solutions to the cross-border payments are welcome to be a part of this prestigious global event. Each team must register and submit their complete proposal before the deadline. Thereafter, shortlisted teams will be invited to develop prototypes of solutions, which would be judged by an eminent jury. The winner in each individual category stands to win an attractive reward offered by Reserve Bank of India. In addition, the shortlisted teams will receive a stipend to take care of the development and participation expenses. They will also get an opportunity to engage with eminent experts from the global financial community. G20 TechSprint 2023 proposal submission opens from 4th May 2023 onwards. For more information, visit www.techsprint.rbi.org.in. Come, be a part of this one-of-a-kind global competition and contribute to revolutionize payments across borders. Truly befitting the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. G20 TechSprint 2023. Innovate, Build. Transform.